Welcome to US Rugby Happy Hour Live. Interviews with the biggest names in American rugby.
The New England Free Jacks, Major League Rugby champions. One-on-one to score.
Here are your hosts, Phil Baker and that other guy.
Hey, Fitzy, good to see you, man. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm still buzzing from yesterday.
What a day. This week, not just yesterday, but this week.
Yeah, no
kidding.
kidding.
So much. I am pumped still. I mean, and we're referring to the Olympic Sevens rugby, obviously, or you were talking about the men's, gymnastics team event. One of the two.
All of it, man. All of it. I love the Summer Olympics, but certainly, the icing on the cake has been USA Women's Sevens getting that bronze in such a dramatic fashion. Unreal.
Zero time on the clock, and the best thing about it, we were just talking about this off air here, is that all the media is picking it up. The small American markets, the big American markets, they're all covering it. They may mention the other ones, but there's and the play of the day, the biggest thing of the day is this, and I think I'm getting goosebumps right now. I know you can't really see it in the video there, but I'm getting goosebumps just because of how exciting and the growth. And I don't know about you, Fitzy, but my social media, I've gained about 40 followers over the past few days. Maybe you might have lost a few, but
all my bots have left me.
Left you, yeah. But the Sevens is amazing. You know what's great though? Our guest today, who we're going to come to in about it in really quick here, I believe has played Sevens and also has been involved with the USA Sevens program at some point also. So we'll talk to him about that. But yeah, really pumped. Fitzy, anything outside of the Sevens other than the gymnastics team that's you watched? Anything that was exciting?
I mean, rugby related, I guess, if this is where you're going down that path. I mean, I think the good news
anything.
is... Yeah. Well, anything. Well, I was just going to keep going on the rugby here for a second. I mean, you saw the $4 million donation that the USA Women's Sevens program got. Like that's so $1 million over $1 million each year over the next 4 years leading up to LA 2028. That's going to be awesome. It sounds like they might even have to shift venues because of the overwhelming crowd support there in Paris. So TBD on where they're going to play. So that's awesome. And then women's elite rugby, is that what you were referring to? They announced.
Well, no, I meant mostly. Women's elite rugby. Obviously, they came out with the announcement of 3 teams have been announced as professionally, so it's great to see. And we're going to cover more of that later, so I don't want to give away too much of that, but we'll do that at another time. Or we just talked about it recently as well. But you just mentioned real quick, what are the 3 teams?
Chicago, Boston, and Denver.
Yeah, I had to look at those notes again, and those are at least 3 that I knew would be in the league, so that's good to see.
Yeah.
And also with that, Fitzy, I've noticed many of the USA women have signed contract extensions with their premiership team over in Europe. So, we've had a few of them on the show over the past year, and they never said, yes, I'll be home playing in it, or no, we won't. So it's obvious, many of them are staying in Europe for that league and possibly come back the year later after this league is starting to kick off and get better. Yeah, we'll have to see. All right, speaking of see, let's get into it. Our guest, again, I'm just going to assume he was a bit torn when USA women faced Great Britain and France. Maybe we'll find out. Let's welcome USA U20s wing, Keelan Farrell. Hey, Keelan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Was there any, I know you with the USA uniform on. Was there any, I don't know, I think Great Britain, let's pull for them.
No.
All right, that's good. No.
Yeah, I was very happy with that game.
Yeah. It went well. It went well for the women also. Fitz and I were talking about this also. I didn't realize this. Were you training with the USA men at one point?
Yes. So summer of 2023, I was training with the USA men as part of the development camp. So yeah, that was last summer.
Nice. And that was in Chula Vista training with the senior squad, getting them.
It was training with the senior squad, and then some of the guys in that development camp. So Oren was in that development camp, and obviously now he's in that senior setup. Yeah, it was an experience definitely to go out there and be able to train with them, and yeah, that kind of brought me into the USA setup. So obviously not living in the US. That was my sort of first taste of USA Rugby, essentially.
How did you get invited then to Bill? How did you get invited to that camp then?
Yeah, so it's a story. So it basically starts with playing schoolboy rugby for the last 2 years of high school. Played in Roslyn Park, the Roslyn Park National Sevens, which is like the UK's big national sevens tournament. You have like 1,000 teams competing, and we got to the final. And so from that, I was picked up by a sevens team called they're now called Shogun, but were called Samurai at the time. And that's they're linked with Mike Friday, and basically played for them. They told Mike Friday about them, and kind of went from that basically.
And when you were now, we've witnessed, and many people now who are familiar with you after watching the U20 matches, whether in Canada or over in Scotland, you've got some speed. So when you were with the senior setup there, were there maybe Perry Baker or somebody out there that just you're like, oh my God, I thought I was fast, but wow.
Yeah, I mean, when Perry gets going, he absolutely can shift. I was very, very impressed by how that guy can move. And the thing is, everyone there is fast. No matter, like, literally every single person in that squad is lightning quick. So it was going from I'm the quickest person on the field to wow, okay, this is different.
Yeah. And Fitzy, you mentioned something about his social media followers earlier. I think he was giving you a hard time because of Alana Mar's social media following. What you said he was about 1 million short or something like that, Fitzy?
1.9 million or so.
1.9 million?
Like, give or take a couple 100,000 or so.
Well, maybe they get the USA Rugby Happy Hour Live bump, which will give you at least 3 more. Yeah. Lastly, Keelan, before we get into our next line of questioning, we're doing a little research on you, and I found some highlights out before USA. It's apparently you only play in mud, because that's all I found were highlights of you running in mud.
Welcome to England.
Yeah.
That's just what you play in. If it's not on turf and you're playing in the winter, it's very wet, and you get used to that. That's sort of what you grow up playing on. Put in extra long studs, anything you can do. And so I mean, if I'm playing games when it was raining, it was raining in that first Canada game, I was ready.
Exactly. You're used to it. All right, so let's jump into the U20 setup. Actually, how were you qualified for USA?
So I was born in San Francisco. My parents at the time lived in the States. Neither of them are American, but I was born in San Francisco, and essentially 3 months later moved back to the UK to be with family. And so that's how I qualify. I'm a citizen, but didn't spend too long there.
Just enough time. It's all you needed.
Yeah.
Just enough.
Like what? You're like 3 weeks out of the hospital, go to the UK, give or take. What have you been to the States since then? Since maybe going to Charlotte? You were in Charlotte training.
Yeah. So been to the States a lot. Mostly the East Coast. Boston is kind of where I know the most. Most summers would be spent Boston area, because we've got family friends. That's where my parents went to university. So
Whereabouts in Boston?
So I was Wellesley, I think, and then also going up to Cape Cod for swimming, good weather, etc.
Technically down to Cape Cod.
I
live in Boston. Yeah.
Bill, don't check him on his geography, man. Come on.
Yeah. These are the toughest questions, Keelan, so don't worry about it. All right, so you came over, U20s, training in Charlotte. Really tough time to train in Charlotte. It is hot. Now, I know you had some heat waves over there. Tell us about how difficult it is to train in those conditions.
I mean, it was a really big adjustment, to be honest. Yeah, I definitely struggled those first few weeks, overheating, trying to keep fluids in. But, training in that heat is going to make you fitter. That's an advantage we had, the fact that we could train in this really, really hot weather that was just going to push us to our limits, And eventually adjusted, and had absolutely no problem, because we still had some hot games in Scotland. We kind of got to Scotland when they had a little bit of a heat wave themselves, so it was definitely beneficial, but definitely hard to adjust to.
Nice.
And again, when you were training in Charlotte, that's home of Major League Rugby's Anthem team, new team there. Were you guys training with Anthem and that set up a little bit, or competing against them in some ways?
So as a team, yeah, we ran against them a bit. So before our first camp in Bellingham, I actually came out to the States a week early, to adjust for the jet lag, but also to train with Anthem for a week. So did that, and then obviously, yeah, when we came back, we got to run against them, run some moves, took advantage of their experience,
And probably
real quick.
Yeah,
Sorry, super real quick. You're familiar with Scott Lawrence's zero G training. Is that the same way U20s are training? That exorbitant hard training?
There was definitely elements. We were really pushed to our limits in conditioning blocks. Especially the forwards. The forwards were really putting that work in. We spoke about finding that dark place to get them through. They put an incredible amount of work. Everyone did, but especially them.
Yeah. Great, Fitz.
Yeah, Keelan, let's jump over and let's talk about the trophy competition. Obviously, a successful run for your squad, right? It's always good when we can defeat Canada twice there in qualifiers. You guys went 3-0 in the trophy pool play, right? And then, hey, let's talk about that Netherlands game right quick. 44-33, 4 tries in that game. Keelan, what was it like scoring 4? When was the last time you scored 4 tries in a rugby game? When you were on top, maybe?
It actually would have been a month before. I went into camp.
There you go.
I scored 6.
Oh.
I was playing for my club's second team, and yeah, so it was kind of didn't have the players, so I filled in.
Well, clearly you spent it all against Netherlands and that match, because you only had one in the next 2 matches, both matches against Uruguay and Kenya. Extremely difficult games for you. That must have been hard to do after all those other tries.
Yeah, I think the other team definitely, if I was to be completely honest, I think they probably did their homework. I definitely felt like they were a lot quicker onto me, but that opened up space in the midfield for everyone else, and I'm very happy to not score it as long as we get the win.
And were you looking over your shoulders? I'm sure Neitz was telling you don't worry about Scotland, but they had to have been in the back of your mind scoring over 100 points a couple matches.
There's always the who are we going to play, but we very much tried to take each match at a time. We didn't want to think ahead. Because if you're thinking ahead, you lose focus. You could slip up. The teams that we were playing, they really pushed us. They were really good. So, yeah, I'd say you think about it, but you try to push it to the back of your mind, basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then just talking about the final, right? Going up against Scotland, 48-10 loss there. Team was able to get a try there at the end. From your point of view, what did Scotland do so well against your squad?
I think they were that kind of next step up in most areas, especially at the breakdown. They were very effective at the breakdown. There were very few opportunities to steal ball, and if we weren't quick enough, they would take ours. I wouldn't say they were too many levels above us. I think that score probably wasn't quite reflective of how much we pushed them. We really made them work for every single try. They had a lot of entries to our 22, but we were able to disrupt them in that area by just fronting up physically. I think that breakdown, they were able to also bring physicality. That was definitely the next step up for us. The score was what it was, and it reflected the fact that they played better than us. I think that's fair to say, but they're a tier 1 nation, so I think we did incredibly well. I'm really proud of that performance that we put in. Guys put everything into that performance. So
there seemed to be a nice turnout of USA fans in that match. Did that sound like that?
Yeah, I could definitely hear the USA fans from the touchline. Obviously, I'm on the side anyway, so that helps. I think despite the fact they were more Scotland fans, we kind of matched them for noise, to be honest. I think the Americans are very, very loud, which was really nice.
Yeah, you can count on American fans being a little rowdy.
Yeah, not always in a good way. Keelan, let's talk about your teammates on the U20 side. There are a couple with MLR experience, say Seth Smith. Talk about maybe the experience they bring, having that MLR experience, and then also talk about some other players who maybe you were like, wow, these guys are really good.
Yeah. So obviously Graham, Seth, Braemar, Dylan. I mean, it was definitely felt the fact that they had that experience. Their decision making under pressure, I felt was really good. They also brought that extra physicality, having played in the MLR, which is one of the most physical leagues in the world. I saw Seth just bouncing people left and right. I was crazily impressed by how he can just take hits. In terms of people who I was very impressed with, I was impressed with all of our fly halves basically. But I'll mention Spencer our scrum half in particular. Being only 17, and yeah, I mean, to be that good at that age I was very impressed, and I think he's definitely one to watch for the future. And if he keeps playing at a high level, he'll just improve drastically. It will be an exponential improvement. So I think you could see him. If I was to have to put anyone for that that future Eagles spot, I think he's definitely up there with his trajectory at the moment. So I'd love to see him keep improving. He's got another 2 years left, so you're going to keep seeing it.
Yeah, Keelan, let's talk a little bit about head coach needs. Kind of coming out of this World Rugby Trophy tournament. Kind of what are the goals for the team from needs? Is it be competitive? Win, growth for the future. Kind of what's been the message since that tournament, and kind of what does the future look like in terms of maybe just competitions or games?
Yeah, so obviously Leeds was very happy with kind of where we left. Obviously, while we didn't get to the ultimate goal of getting promoted this year, I think we've left the shirt in a very good place. Lots of boys are going to be returning. We're going to be bringing in new guys. We've created a culture of winning, and so yeah, the goal for the future is ultimately get promoted to the U20 Championship and show that USA Rugby is really something that's on the rise and something you should pay attention to.
Nice. And Keelan, we talked about sevens earlier with you, and now of course 15s. And you clearly have the speed for both, right? And the mobility on the wing. And is the wing where you want to be, or have you maybe experimented with other positions as well?
So this season I've played at both fullback and wing. So I can play at both. But I've obviously for the U20s I trained pretty much exclusively at wing. Corbin at fullback worked really well. So yeah, that was kind of. I'm very happy to move around, but those are kind of my main positions. They're the ones I've got experience with.
And speaking of experience, you were with, I believe, with Esher Rugby Club, and that's over. Is that correct?
So I'm still affiliated with them. I probably won't be playing for them next season. I'm still a member of the club. I'm still going to social events. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure of what's going to be happening next season. So kind of exploring my options. I've got university coming up. I've got some other options that could be alternatives. But yeah, it's really exciting. And I'm always going to be connected to Isha. Really is.
Well, everyone joins a club because of the social aspect anyway, right? So we just keep doing that.
Yeah.
Keelan, you mentioned some of the kind of your plans for the future. Maybe you're up in the air, right? And you've got some options, which are great. I guess, first question, just how old are you?
So I'm 19.
19. Okay. Gosh, you're not even 20 yet. I guess you're allowed to have a drink in the UK, but when you come over to the US, yeah. Anyway, don't worry about that, Neitzer Scott. So anyway, future plans. So you're still finishing up university, but then, what do the next few years look like, right? In terms of potentially, is it or MLR? Is it trying to play professionally there in the UK? Kind of what is, and then for the Eagles, right? Is it the potential pathway up to the senior squad?
Yeah, I mean, so I've got a university offer at the moment that preseason will actually be starting at the end of August. But I'm not under any obligation to take that place. So I'm still, considering alternatives. Yeah, I mean, I'm having a look at kind of everything, like every possible option, whether it be playing in the UK or playing in the MLR. But at the moment, there's definitely a goal to be a professional and to basically see where I can take my game. My aim has always been with rugby to, see what level I can bring my game to. If that's, just playing for university, then I'm happy with that. If that's the highest I can go, that's chill. But if I can go to that next level, I would absolutely love to. It's the dream basically since I started playing.
Are there any USA Eagles that you've followed, let's say, maybe in the same footsteps that you're trying to do? Say, well, Will Hooley, who just retired as an Eagle, he came through the England system, even played England U20s against the USA many years ago, and he made his way over to MLR and USA Eagles. Are there players that maybe you followed like that? Or if not, who are the players that you tend to watch?
So I'm aware of a few English guys who are dual qualified who have made their way over to MLR. There's one guy stuck in my mind who used to play for Leicester, now plays for Houston, but I can't quite grasp his name. But I mean, the guys that I watch, obviously, because I'm in England, I watch the Premiership. A lot of kind of my favorite guys would be, like Marcus Smith, who actually went to my high school. So he used to come down for our games. So I've had a few chats with him. And yeah, someone who I used to watch, as a child would be, the name's just, flown from my brain. Oh, sorry. I'll be back in a second.
We'll get that event. Well, it's okay. Think about it. It's okay. Well, oh yes, Chris Ashley, of course.
Who, so Neat's kind of asked everyone who their favorite player was, historical player, and yeah, he's definitely obviously some disciplinary issues, but not trying to get that part of his game into my game.
Yeah, not the attitude part of it. Well, I'm calling it right now, Fitzy. I think in 2 years, and it's a really short time, Keelan. Or 3 years. If you're still playing, I'm picturing Adrian Bigetti, crossfield kick to you on the wing, scoring a try to beat Canada. Let's go with that one.
That would be very nice. That'd be awesome.
Well, Bill, there is something to that, right? Like Keelan, as you look ahead to in the U.S., right, to 2027 Rugby World Cup down in Australia, then 31, obviously here in the U.S. that will be hosting. Quick math, 31, that's in 8 years from now. That puts you, 26, 27, and that's right in your prime. That certainly, and I think USA Rugby and Scott Lawrence's and others with Anthem have made it clear that they're trying to bring up young players to the senior squad to give them that senior test level experience. I got to imagine that is something that maybe you and the other guys on the U20 squad are talking about, like the chances of trying to get to play for, say, the US or wherever in a Rugby World Cup.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of talk about 2031. We all know we're going to be that age. We're going to be, some of us will be in that group. And so a lot of guys, I think, we're really excited, having a home World Cup and being able to be a part of that, just because we're lucky in sort of what age we're going to be. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of talk about 2031. 2027 definitely to an extent, but I think eyes were definitely on 2031.
Mm-hmm. I just want to talk about your style of play real quick, Keelan. You're definitely, like I said, we talked about speed, but your cuts are amazing. I think I feel pain in my knee when I see you make those cuts. That's how you do it. I played with a couple of players in my career that are similar to you, and just the dicing in and out, and making people miss tackles. And back when I played, I was like, all right, where's he going? Should I just wait and see where he goes? Do you ever get that reaction from your teammates? In a casual way, a funny way? Or maybe it's just me.
Yeah. Like in terms of support lines?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest, I can't see behind me, so
That'd be amazing if they could.
yeah, I mean, like, definitely, I know they're a guy, like, something our squad was built on was outwork our opponents. You know, I could definitely, I felt the benefit of, you know, I knew my guys were right behind me, you know, on that left wing. I would say, you know, Graham Padgano in particular, you know, I knew I could just go on the outside of someone because, you know, if I get taken down, I know he's right behind me to secure that ruck, so I can just go. You know, it's about having that support. You know, it's great to be able to run at people, but it's even better to have that knowledge that, you know, you've got the support. You're not going to get turned over.
Now, with you coming to Boston every so often for vacationing, is it safe to assume that the Free Jacks are your favorite MLR team?
I'm actually gonna say no. I'm gonna say like Anthem is my favorite team.
Okay.
Like obviously being with the guys in that week before camp, you know, I absolutely loved it. You know, made some really good friends there. So yeah, I've got some Anthem merch up in my room. It's going to be hung up very soon. So yeah, I'm going to be looking forward to see how they do next season.
Well,
Keelan, hold on. Bill asked that question because Bill lives in the Boston area. He's a big Free Jacks fan. The Free Jacks are in the MLR Championship on Sunday playing the Seattle Seawolves. So he was trying to get a couple of points there. So yeah, you answered correctly. You're an Anthem fan. Very good.
It's okay. I'll live. All right, Keelan, man, it's been great talking. We hope to see you over here. I mean, that's our personal preference. We want to see you in a USA uniform growing through the system. And who knows, maybe with the Anthem run one day, you know, it just, we're excited to watch you. It was great to watch you with the U20s, and just, I think a lot of fans are excited to see what guys like you can do. So man, good luck, and we hope to see you again soon.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. It's been great.
All right. Cheers. Talk again soon.
Thanks.
Oh yeah. Always good talking to guys like him. He's, you know, the future.
Well, I mean, you're right though. Like, that's why I think it's, you know, I feel privileged to be doing the show with you, because we can chat with players like Keelan who are coming up, right? And because, you know, the eyes are on the U.S. right now. We know what's ahead of us. We're hosting the 31 and 33 Rugby World Cups. We know that we're going to need some younger players up on the senior squad, and the more we can have, you know, these players tell their story and have people follow them, I think that's great, just human interest stories. So, you know, looking forward to following Keelan and having him back on and speaking with more players, both men and women. So, yeah.
Well, you know, you could have just stopped at, I'm extremely honored to be doing the show with you. Boom, done.
We Bill, I mean, the great Bill Baker, you know. You're going to have to change the intro. The great Bill Baker.
Well, now here's Bill Baker.
He paints and cooks.
The other guy. All right, man. Good stuff. Like you said, love talking to these guys. We'll get more of them on. We should get more and more of these guys in the show. So listeners, stay tuned for more of those, and we'll chat.